just grown 2 of my TikTok accounts to 158,000 followers now, and 2 of my 3 YouTube channels to 12,000 followers. I know these are not insane numbers, but I am very proud of them, and I'm very happy to share 5 amazing tips on what I did to do this and why, as a business owner, you may want to listen. So I use my social media as a business owner to drive traffic back to my main offer, which is always on my website, because I know the games that these platforms play. And the bigger these apps get, the harder it is to get people off of them onto your email list and to convert into your funnel. So if you are struggling to get sales from social media, if you are struggling to grow your social media, if you are thinking, what in the world is going on, then this video is going to be for you. So before I start, I think I'm going to give an advisory. This video is not for you if you're a silent scroller. This is not for you if you're one of those passive income side hustle chicks. It's not for you. This video is for serious people who want to create serious income online. So now is the time to scroll. If you don't know who I am, my name is Ali. I'm the founder of 9 brands, which I've been growing and developing over 20 years now. And now I coach a little bit, helping other people grow their online business or start an online business. And in particular, I'm very good at helping offline businesses acquire and create digital assets so they can build in an additional income stream into their business and start creating that extra momentum. So if that is you, if you're looking for something a bit more serious instead of the fluff and the nonsense, then you're probably in the right place. First tip is get clear on what you want. And I'm going to be using here one of my clients, Jane. Jane is a lovely lady. She is a reflexologist and a therapist, and she was struggling in her business to keep consistent sales, and market her business and try and grow her business. And in her own words, and I'll leave her review down below, she says, I'm not a social media expert, I'm not an affiliate marketer, and trying to do these things was taking me away from my actual core business, right? The things that I should be doing in my business. So luckily for me, Jane she saw one of my TikToks, as she said, and then she booked in a one-to-one with me straight away, and she joined my private program, the 365 plan. Now I'm going to be clear here, my 365 plan is not a freebie funnel, okay? It's not for the hopers, it's not a PDF and a prayer, it's for serious business owners and serious business builders. So she is now building an additional income stream into her business through digital assets, transforming her knowledge and her skills and her experience into something that she can do online. But if you want to know more about that, you need to go along and have a little look at her business, which I am going to be linking down below. So the first point here that I'm trying to make is that Jane knew exactly what she wanted, but didn't necessarily know how to get there. And if you listen to her review, she says, I could see when I was talking to Ali that she knew exactly where the issues were in my business. And I created obviously a personalized plan for her to fix those issues and to help her, navigate her way through it. So for Jane, it wasn't about being an influencer. It wasn't about getting loads of views. It wasn't about growing her social media account to 150,000 followers. What she wanted was more income in her business that was more reliable and that did not fluctuate. That was her goal. So she was very, very clear. So the first thing, be very, very clear about what you really want, because in social media, the strategy that I would employ, for example, to work with a content creator who has either, 200, 300,000 followers is going to be very different to somebody like Jane, who is not really bothered about followers. She is more about cash conversions, right? The strategy is completely different. And it also depends whether or not somebody is in a monetizable program like the TikTok program or if they have a business account. Again, TikTok looks at those accounts very differently, and the way those accounts are pointed by TikTok are very different as well. And if you want to know more about that type of thing, then I have a membership called the 365 Content Club if you want to master social media on all platforms. Number 2, call out your audience. So you need to do this directly within the 3 seconds. The first 3 seconds of any short form video content, 3 to 6 seconds, is crucial. And you can call them out with a visual hook or a verbal hook or even an audio hook. And ideally in like 30-second TikTok or a 30-second reel or a YouTube short, you need to be having at least 3 visual hooks, at least 3 verbal hooks, and at least 3 audio hooks or effects that are going to disrupt that passive viewing. That is what short video content is all about. And not only will you keep the viewer engaged, but you will also please the algorithm. An example, I might start with one of my TikTok videos by saying my business bundle besties. People automatically know then that the people I'm speaking to are the people that have bought my business bundle. I might talk to my midlife entrepreneurs. This video is for you. So I'm automatically speaking to my audience. Maybe you sell clothing. There's a very popular creator on TikTok called Sarah Jane, and she starts with all of her TikToks by saying my plus size girlies. And because of that, the algorithm hears plus size, plus size, plus size. Every time someone puts in plus size, guess who's going to pop up? So speaking directly to your audience, like literally, as well as in your content, as well as using those other verbal and visual hooks, are crucial to call out your audience. That is the first tip, because social media is predominantly about watch time. The more you can get your audience to watch your content, pretty much nothing else matters. Number 2, I built one of these accounts. It grew from 0 to 16,000 followers in 7 days. How? Storytelling. No TikTok trends, no TikTok dances, and definitely not any TikTok shop. So I don't do any of that. So I don't grow any of my accounts by dancing on the next trend, using hashtags like viral or FYP, and actually don't use those hashtags. They will get you shadow banned. So in one of my accounts, I actually shared my story of how I took the UK government to court and I sued them for unlawful harassment and disability discrimination. I documented that also over on YouTube. I released some of my evidence, and quite frankly, my audience were really encouraged to take action, I think, about their own disability and their own human rights. And it was just interesting sharing tips and tricks and emotions and things that I've dealt with along the way, but most of all about giving people that information that they want. So quite a lot of what you're doing in your content is giving value. And then over on my other account, that's more about entrepreneurial things, online business, and even social media strategies and business tips. So my third little tip is something I think is a little bit controversial, because some people think you should do this and some people think you shouldn't. I'm going to tell you now, 100% you need to be doing this. And that is repurpose everywhere. And I'm going to explain in a moment why you want to be doing that. But lots of people will say to you, master one platform before you grow on another. That is completely useless advice. It's clearly advice from someone who is not experienced at all in social media. And these are the reasons why. Number 1, every social media platform is very, very different. If you take your content from TikTok and you put it everywhere else, you're not going to get the same response. You might have a couple of videos that do well, but generally all of these platforms are a little bit at war with each other. Okay, so they look at account and content differently, they market differently, and most importantly, the audiences on these social media platforms or visual search engines like YouTube, like Pinterest, are completely different. There are people on YouTube that just don't have TikTok. They haven't even got it downloaded on their phone. There are people that don't even know what Pinterest is. I know. Okay, so don't think that all of your audience is on TikTok, because they're not. I will also say that TikTok as a platform has massively changed because it has built a reputation on cheap offers, fast content, quick delivery. So that is attracting a type of buyer persona. It's very good for building awareness. It's very good for account growth because, quite frankly, let's be honest, Instagram is like pulling out teeth when it comes to account growth. Does the CEO of Instagram actually know what he's doing anymore? I don't know, because he changes his mind every 6 months and reverts to back what he said like 6 months prior. So I don't know about that one. But you can build an audience on TikTok very, very fast. But the trick when it comes to converting that into sales is in your content funneling system. So my next tip is all about authority, but at the same time, vulnerability. It's like a double-edged sword, but it works very well, particularly on social media. So the next tip is obviously mixing authority with vulnerability. So this can be like a double-edged sword sometimes. So I mix authority, like my strategies for growing accounts or business strategies, along with things that aren't particularly working very well, for example, in my own business. I'm going to give you an example. On one of my social media accounts, I give out a lot of tips on entrepreneurship, business growth, business ideas for beginners, and obviously, social media tips, TikTok growth, for example, because I've got quite a few TikTok accounts and I've grown them very well. Now, at one time, one of these accounts was like 70,000 followers and I was stuck in 200 view jail. Like, what on earth is going on? Like, there's me sitting there doing TikToks going, this is how you grow your account. Boom. It's like then TikTok just want to kill me. And my views just tanked for no reason whatsoever. And I just thought, actually, there is a reason. I worked out what the reason was. I then thought, okay, this is a strategy I am going to deploy to combat that. I recorded the whole process, what I was worried about, how it would be affecting my business, the red flags and things to watch out for if this is happening to you, the actual methods I was going to put in place to do it. I also reveal all of my analytics and my data to my clients inside my Contentpreneurs membership, so they can literally see that this is legitimately, the truth. I then put the strategy and the method into practice, which clearly got me out of the 200 to 300 view jail, and obviously then showed them the results. So that's like a whole extra training. So by showing that vulnerability, I show my authority. Can you see what I'm doing there? And because I do that, and I can do that in lots of different ways in business and social media, people trust you. And again, if you listen to the reviews on my customers, they're like, Ali really knows her stuff, which is a nice thank you, guys. Ali really knows her stuff when it comes to social media and business, and there is no social media platform she does not know how to work. That is one hell of a review. It's such a nice thing for my customers to say. But basically, if you're a bit of a geek and boring and you sit on these platforms for as long as I have done, and you're using them to like earn your money, like pay your mortgage, buy your food, go on holiday and, live your life. When you become that serious about social media and business, trust me, you will learn very well. So my next tip is going to be one I know everybody says, but it is very, very true. Consistency wins. If you post once a week on YouTube, you will grow. You'll grow faster if you post twice a week. But what YouTube want is quality content. If you compare that with TikTok, on TikTok, if you're in a creator fund, they want quality content. They're kind of like aligned with YouTube like that. But if you're not in the creator fund, you can post as many times as you like on TikTok, 5 times a day. I mean, I have accounts before I get into the creator fund, I'm posting 3 and 5 times a day. So consistency wins. The idea is to be consistent. Don't post 2 times a day or 3 times a day and then drop to once a week. The algorithms hate that. They really hate it. What they love is the consistency. And on TikTok in particular, you will get extra points on your account if you are posting consistently. They are looking for consistent use because they align that with loyalty. So be consistent. It wasn't one viral video that got me to where I am today with my accounts. And in fact, I've got many a viral video, 10.7 million views, 6.7 million views, 8.4 million views, right? But most of these people are just liking, and they've picked up on the virality. And this is a problem with everyone that wants to go viral. Half of the time, they are not your direct audience. They're not in your niche, and they have got no interest in what you're doing, particularly if you're a business owner or a service provider or a coach like I am. So virality isn't always the best solution. I would say is not the best solution to grow your account. So lastly, how do I monetize? How do I monetize my social media? Well, I monetize my social media not by doing TikTok shop, not by selling Amazon FBA. Blah, blah, blah. How do I monetize my TikTok? It is not by doing TikTok shop. It is not by even being in the creator fund. I mean, that pays me a little bit of money, but it's not really very much money at all. I sell education, I sell coaching, and most of all, I sell real life transformation through what I help people achieve with their businesses and with their online income or their digital assets. That's really what I do. So when you do that and you're able to show people the results of that, or show people why you're doing what you're doing, it naturally, I find, converts, because fortunately for me, there are a lot of people on social media that are talking nonsense about online business, that have sold a PLR product, and, you know, maybe some people have done very well for the first 10 months, then they position themselves as an expert, and then that's when they fall down. Because in order to be an expert at something, it isn't about how many PLR courses you can sell. It's about how do you fix business problems and real problems in your, for example, your content marketing when it's not working. That's where strategy always wins over anything else. My best advice to everybody is, if you want to monetize your social media, build a business around you, around what you love, because that will always convert because of who you are. It will also give you naturally an unfair advantage, because no two people are the same. So no two businesses are the same. And if you want a hand with that, then get yourself on my waitlist for the 365 plan. There is an application process. Unfortunately, I don't work with every single person, and I might be able to help you with a real individual business idea and business plan that's going to set you apart from everybody else, which of course is going to make it a lot easier to convert, because you are not doing the same business or business idea as everybody else. I hope that's helped you all out. Please do like, follow, and of course share, and let anybody else know about my channel if they are someone who is seriously wanting to build online income and seriously wanting to build an online business without all of the nonsense.